Framelines goes on location with producer Bo Buckley and his crew as they make the horror comedy Death of the Dead.
Anyone gonna buy me a drink?
Bloody Mary?
It's Wanda, actually.
I don't think I've ever made a Bloody Wanda before. But I'd like to.
Why don't you try, you zombie scum?
That's uncalled for.
Yeah, that was pretty rude.
Death of the Dead is a zombie comedy movie shot on a very low budget. It's kind of a mix-up between airplane comedy meets 28 Days Later meets The Karate Kid. On the budget of like a used car. That's pretty much what we had to work with. But that's kind of what it is in a nutshell. We shot it in Cleveland, Ohio. We have an associate, Ray Such, that was telling us about this martial arts student that he had. Gave us an idea of how cool it would be to have this young girl martial artist that could really kick some zombie butt, and thought it'd be very, very funny. I'm from Ohio too, so it kind of was natural that we would shoot it here. I am the writer and the producer. I came up with the idea. We did a search for directors, and Gary King responded to one of our ads. The production went great. I thought Gary did a great job. We had a great working relationship, and so when we did Death of the Dead, we felt really comfortable going back to him. We had our DP, camera operator, Steadicam operator. He was all in one. We had a guy doing sound and boom named Rick Gizzy, and he was kind of all in one, self-sufficient, walking around with his equipment and his boom pole. One art department person. We had a wardrobe person who was in charge of all of the different geese that we had and stuff. We did have a person for makeup effects. We only had a few days where we actually had a lot of zombies, so we only had him on for maybe half the time, and that was pretty much it. And the producers and the director. We had an AD, but we didn't have a huge crew. I mean, it was probably the size of like maybe 8 total. The good thing I think about filmmaking today is that anyone can do it anywhere. I think digital technology has allowed just about everybody to at least make an attempt to be a filmmaker. So you don't have to live in LA, you don't have to live in New York to have access to the resources to actually make a movie. When I started, film school was the way to go. Now, with all of the resources on the internet, all of the accesses to digital technology and everything else, I think anybody can pick up a camera. It's kind of a good time to be a filmmaker if you're trying to learn. It's also a time where everybody can become a filmmaker, so you have a lot more competition out there now. Christina Rose is the lead actress in Death of the Dead. What we were looking for was someone who had some stunt ability or some dance ability, because the character is supposed to be a martial artist. She did an audition and was doing splits and doing all types of kicks and stuff, and she has these little subtle nuances that she brings in. There's a little look here, a little smile here that really, I think, brings out the heart of that character. In the scene where her master is lying there injured, she starts to cry, and it's not in the page, but she felt that character would cry there at that moment, and it was something that she and the director had worked up, and it works really, really well. In sort of a ridiculous, funny scene, she's crying and sobbing, and I think she did a great job. Jack Abley is also the executive producer, a friend of mine. I've worked with him before. Sort of made him our low-rent Leslie Nielsen kind of character. This is kind of the first time he's actually done comedy. He likes to do more serious things. He was very much insecure about it, taking that sort of serious behavior and making it funny. To him, his role was, I'm going to be an action star. I'm going to get to fight zombies. I'm going to be doing high kicks, and he was practicing all this stuff, and he'd been working out and all this. And I'm like, no. William Lee played Evil Sensei. Jack's character is old, is sort of feeble, is doesn't really have martial arts ability, and we wanted somebody who was the complete opposite. William Lee is black, he's a big guy, he really knows martial arts, and so putting those two together was like, complete opposites, and that's what we wanted the dynamic to be. For the extras and the day players that we had, they were all basically local actors that we had brought in. I mean, we worked with, on a typical day of Death of the Dead, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of time to you know, sort of hang out and do things. We had to kind of get right into it because we only had 12 days to shoot it, which is really short for a feature. We would go through the end of the evening and talk about the next day's shoot, and we would go over how it was going to be shot, and then we would go in and we would just kind of shoot based on that schedule, and the AD would kind of keep us moving along. It worked out. I mean, we wrapped early almost every single day, and we had quite a bit of like fight scenes and stuff, which is with one camera and basically no choreography and things like that. It was pretty remarkable to be able to finish ahead of schedule. I think everybody was just real relaxed. There was no, we got to get this done and this is going to be serious and you got to cry at this moment. It was like, we're just having fun. We have offers for distribution for international. We've got offers for DVDs. It's just now about finding the right person for us to actually take the film. The thing I like about Ohio is that a lot of these filmmakers will come together and they will share resources or share abilities. My advice to an aspiring filmmaker is be realistic about it, be passionate about it, and keep making movies.
Framelines is brought to you in part by Zabo Lights, the new LED lights for your production. Tape Central, providing your media needs. Production Partners Media, affordable media solutions.